everyone, and welcome back to Melanin Minds, the show where we are highlighting Black women and femmes in the comic book and manga industry. I'm your host, Natasha, and right here,
Hi, I'm Ty. Also a host. Co-host,
co-host.
also a host.
Like, let me fix you. You're not.
Oh, there we go. And now my device now I'm mirrored. So now even better.
How did you get it?
Now it's even better.
Should I just?
Hmm.
Well, we have returned for another re-record, and I figured out something else cool,
Okay.
and now we have background music.
Oh, we got background with it. We got a little DJ in the mix. What's going on?
We try to figure out how to do that forever.
I thought you just added it in post, honestly.
No, in fact, I usually don't even add any. I think I've had like 2 or 3 where I've added them in post. But other than that,
okay.
Because I usually add it. So, but yeah, now I figured out how to do it on the recording.
All right, we locked in. You should be proud of yourself. You did a little thing. You did a little 1-2. We might be professional podcasters or whatever this podcast talk show. People who deserve mics.
Yeah, we deserve mics. We're not men.
We're not men.
Whether we're men, okay. We make too many jokes. We can't be taken seriously. But today we have technically another re-record, but that's okay because it's going to be even better than the last time, and y'all are going to love it. And we have our guest, who is an artist, has always been active and artistic, a fellow X-Men lover, so go X-Men lovers, be awesome. Who has loved and taken inspiration from cartoons on Disney, Nickelodeon, old superhero shows like Spider-Man. Started drawing actually, like in their still young, like before graduation, but later years in high school, sketching stuff for magazines, initially on like computer paper until she finally got her first sketchbook, which is really good. Sketchbooks are very important for all of us. I've learned this raising an artist. She initially wanted to be a doctor, went to school for pre-med, and then ended up studying art and Spanish and got a Bachelor of Arts in Studio Art and in Spanish. And then still thought about going to medical school and, ended up getting into political art. And that was like a huge leap for her journey. She's created art for voting rights campaigns, women rights campaigns, a Black girl magazine called Fessy. I never know if I'm saying that right. Has done art for TV, has an awesome agent that helps her get a lot of good gigs. And I mean, I say good gigs because she's very talented. So no matter what, it's going to be good because she's making the art. Also getting into animation. I need to ask about that this time. And of course, her love of art is a love of drawing Black women and women as being strong and in positive ways, and even did an entire series once on swapping white characters into POC. She's had some fan art in the back of Bitterroot. She's created her own comics now. She's worked with Stephanie Williams, and at once upon a time was even a partner with Adobe before they sold their stuff to the devil. So proud to welcome to the show Ryan Oakley.
Hello. Thank you. And I actually don't have an agent anymore, so there's a little correction. Yeah, that was like very short-lived. So yeah, everything I've kind of gotten myself. I just kind of felt like it was better for me to just kind of do it myself, to be honest. So
sometimes it is. I was wondering. I was like, I don't remember knowing about agents.
You are right. You're right. That's crazy. Yeah, I like I said last time. I was like, yeah, you definitely did your research for sure. But yeah, that relationship ended. Nothing on their part, but just for me, I just felt like just wasn't the move for me right in this moment. So
it's weird. That's as an actress, I get that. I personally don't want one, but But so I talked. Now you get to tell people about your journey in your words, because someone's out there somehow might not know who you are.
Right. Hmm.
Mhm.
So yeah, I always loved art. Was really into animation. Thought I was gonna be an animator. Until I actually figured out what was all entailed into doing animation. It's a lot of drawing,
Mhm.
and but I was like super into math and science. Was always like a sim kid, and so I was kind of pushed into that direction.
Mhm.
Even going into college, and then after undergrad I was doing the post back, and I don't know, just kind of realized I wasn't really doing it for me. I was doing it for, others, and this idea of myself that I would be a better member of society if I was a doctor, and I have something that I could truly offer to society.
Mhm.
Um, and so I eventually got waitlisted and moved back home and got back into my art, the political art. It was a way to get myself back into art. I created this clothing brand line called Shady Brand, and it was kind of using some of these different political moments that was happening, like Trump was talking about calling people bad people, but was saying it in Spanish, but it's hombre, but he was saying hombres. So I made this
Mhm.
whole design of bad hombre hair. Um, um
Mm.
hair, and but the one that picked up was when Hillary Clinton was called a nasty woman, so I made these nasty woman shirts, um
Mm.
and it got picked up by a Mashable article back when Mashable was like really a big thing, and it was like top 25 feminist artists, or 25 feminist gifts for the artists, feminists in your life, for Christmas, and my hoodie was featured on it. So I didn't realize that one of my friends from high school, she had loved it and sent it to a friend, and they added it to their list, because overnight I was like blown up with sales. I was like, what? I'm just like I just posted this. None of my sales have done like anything, none of my designs have done anything like this. And so that kind of gave me this push to continue to explore my art. And then eventually I got picked out of like thousands of submissions by Amplifier Art, and I think it was Women's March, maybe, I don't know, but Amplifier Art was the one who was putting it on, and so they did this like national tour with bipartisan vote imagery, just trying to get everybody to get out and vote, regardless of their political affiliation. And so that was really cool. Some really awesome people, like Shepard Fairey, who's a pretty well known like street artist. Uh, was on the curatorial team, and I feel bad that I just did a presentation on this, and I had her name down, Mari, who's the young lady who's been advocating for Flint, Michigan. She was on the curatorial team too, which is pretty cool. Um, but so yeah, that all kind of gave me like the wind underneath my sails to continue to do my artwork. And um when I moved back, I was still applying to schools, and did a went to my local comic book store and saw Sanford Green and Rico Renzi. They were doing promo for Bitterroot. This right when it came out. The first issue just came out, and so I was showing them some of my work, and so Sanford was just like, "Yeah, you should do some fan art of our character Blink." And so I did, and I posted it, and David Walker was the one who actually saw it, and he loved it and
Mm.
had me email it to him, and he kind of really pushed for it to be in the book. And so that was like my first kind of like interaction with David Walker. And then also John Jennings, he's the one who curated the back part and did
Mhm.
um, some writings in the back as well.
Mm.
And so from there, yeah, I've just been doing my own thing. It's been history since, and kind of learning and teaching myself, and growing from there. So
Yeah, I have that omnibus. So like,
yeah,
I
yeah,
have
and it's
all.
in there, which is crazy. Yeah.
I love this. It's a good journey. Uh,
Yes.
Mhm.
if
Yes.
I asked you this last time, but um, of course, wanting to initially be a doctor, I'm sure like parents and family and stuff are really proud and supportive of that. What were their thoughts when you decided, you know what, I'm gonna be an artist? Like, was there any
Mm-hmm.
pushback? Were they supportive?
Yeah. Hmm. Yes, for sure. Um, yeah, it was a lot of conversation of how are you going to survive, how you're going to take care of yourself. That's just because those are things that my mom always stressed. Like she always wanted me to be very independent and like be able to take care of myself. So she was more so nervous about that. And like figuring out, what is it that you are gonna do, because you can't at this point you can't just do your art. Like you've got to build your way up to that.
Mhm.
And so I figured that out. And then once I kind of had that in place, I was able to start um, practicing and getting better, because at that point I definitely needed to brush up on my skills because I had taken a break from the art, and also just learning about comics because it's different from just completing one composition and painting and different things like that. It's its whole other discipline, like how animation is, it's a whole other discipline, but there's overlap with comics and stuff. um and but yeah, but now they're like super supportive, but I think it's just that initial, like you kind of have to um kind of prove it to them. I feel like my story, like my my story is similar to those of kids who are kids of first, the first generation kids of immigrants. They're very hard on them about doing STEM and being learned this and this, that and this and that, and you gotta have to like prove it to them, and then they eventually come around. So yeah, that's been like my journey. Now my mom volunteers at one of the cons I do every year, and she's like into it. And my dad just came to C2E2 for the first time. That was like his first big con, first time tabling at a con with me, and he chose that one. So that was like pretty huge and a pretty big weekend for him too. So, but yeah, it was just just like apprehension. It was really what it was. Like they want their kid to do well.
I get it. I definitely get it. The funny is, it
Yeah.
was my mom too. However, my dad is the one that's a child of immigrants. Like, he didn't care, whereas my mom was the one that really kind of made the big stink. That's like, you want to go to school for theater? How are you going to pay your bills? How are you going to make a living wage type thing? So I get that. And
Mm.
I'm trying, fingers crossed, I'm trying to get my parents to put MomoCon this year. They their
Yes.
first convention. So
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Exciting.
Yeah, I'm gonna put that energy in there for you too. That they're gonna go.
excited. Daddy, they
Now, you went from I guess you could say like a traditional a field of study in medicine, going to medical school, and which your art was more of like a way for self-expression, I'm guessing, more of like a personal thing. How does it go from I guess personally your journey from making art for yourself that pretty much no one would see to now making art commercially for various different projects?
Um, so I think it just comes from like an undergrad. They kind of trained us to think of your art in that sense, especially like there was like a gallery on campus and then one that was off campus. So they would kind of prep us and tell us to submit work to that, and then teaching us how to price our work and stuff.
Hmm.
I think that kind of helped me, and then submitting to the open calls as well. Um, it's kind of like a something that it's a bit of a no-no, just because it's a lot of labor on the artist's part, without a guarantee of payment. So you kind of have to go into it with the idea that it's a loss, but you're building a portfolio. Um, but I don't know. I think I just trial and error. I would look up other artists' commissions, like contracts and stuff like that, and I think I artists that I liked. Kind of pulled from there, and I kind of just started out that way as far as like commissions, having a website so people could contact me
Mm.
for commissions. And I think that's kind of like what helped me. But I don't think it was like I don't think I like intentionally thought about it. It was just different steps. Once I did a project, I was like, oh, okay, now I need to make sure I have this, and that. Okay, this commission didn't go that well. Okay, now I need to make sure I need to do 50% deposits and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
And I think what kind of got me in the mindset of kind of thinking about it commercially was after I got the amplifier art project, because other people were then contacting me about doing projects for them. I got contacted by this organization called Lamont Digital, and they're based out of California, but they had like a Rolodex of artists that they would go through, and people would contact them if they needed artwork or imagery for different events or programs that they were putting together. And so kind of working with them kind of helped me learn um, how to present my artwork, and then as well as like getting paid for my artwork, which was really cool. And then those projects led me to then um, getting the Lifetime TV commission. But how I got that was I was like putting myself out there. There was this database called Drawing While Black. I wish I could remember the name of the person who created it. Um, but they created this awesome database that you could submit under whatever track was for you. So if you did animation, you would submit under the animation tab, or select what it was. Excuse me, I'm about to see. Ooh, sorry. This pollen
You're fine.
and allergies.
Mhm.
I
No,
was
it's like
trying to hold it
valid.
in. It was like,
Yeah.
but so I filled out the form and then select. I did comics and then illustration and stuff like that. And this producer was amazing. Um, but it was also because of George Floyd was happening at the time. I feel like I'm sidetracking, but it's kind of all connected. But
No, that makes sense. Yeah.
George Floyd was happening at the time, so a lot of people were kind of discovering that there was these discrepancies and inequalities that were happening, not with just within like policing, but just also in who gets chosen to do pieces and artwork, and even who gets chosen for the promotion and jobs and different things like that. So this producer reached out and they wanted to highlight women artists, but I don't think it was limited to women artists of color, but they just wanted to highlight women artists. But she took the time out to go on the Drawing While Black database and found me there, and reached out to me. And so that's kind of like how I got that. And then from the Lifetime TV project, I was able to submit a decent body of work to Adobe. They have these creative residencies that you can apply for. There's two tracks. They have like a residency fund, which is more of you apply and then they find a project for you to work on. And then the true big creative residency, you submit a proposal, kind of like a true residency where you submit a proposal and all that. So I just chose at that time. I was like, well, I could just submit my portfolio, um, and kind of see if I get chosen. And funny enough, I applied on. I always remember this because I thought it was crazy. I applied on my mom's birthday, and I got in like a month later. So I thought that was pretty cool. Um, but um, but yeah, just taking. I just took little things from each project and kind of try to learn and tweak and go from there. So
Yeah. I think it's so incredible that you're such a, I know for you the way that you're thinking about it, you're like, I just took the next logical step. I realized that there was a gap here and I filled it. And I want to let you know that that's not necessarily how some other artists that I talk to, like when we talk about like artist journeys, it's never like a logical step. It's like, my heart told me go here. So
yeah.
I always enjoy hearing individuals who come from different backgrounds and how they interpret art. Speaking of another aspect of art, you went to school for art. You started taking all these very, very reasonable, calculated risks, and you're like, okay, I'm getting a response. No, I have to big you up on like, oh yeah, you thought about that. So what was the thing that made you take the leap into getting into sequential art or into comics, more of a taking that more of a serious route than just say doing your residency or taking on like projects from large commercial entities?
Mm.
Or is are all those things not really disconnected, or are they kind of just one and the same?
Um, they were called kind of all one and the same because I was like, while I was doing those projects, I was still getting better at painting. Like, oh my gosh, before I got those, I was just like the digital work. I was kind of had this, in my opinion, rudimentary understanding. I had this one process of doing it, and then once I got to Lifetime TV and Adobe, I was doing full pieces in the digital software. So
Mm,
before, where I had learned, it was a combination of traditional drawing and then scanning it in and then painting on top and then tweaking or
gotcha.
making that drawing your layer that you paint underneath. Um, those were things that I learned while I was an undergrad, and then also painting, but it wasn't that strong because we were like using the mouse and all that stuff, which is crazy to think painting a whole piece. I did that with with the mouse. Um, that was before we got the little tablets in our art department. But sorry, trying to get back on track. But yeah, it's all connected. I think honestly, I think getting the fan art in the back of Bitterroot kind of like put it together. But even in my undergrad work, I was combining comics in to my artwork and was trying to, and then like one of my professors really liked some of these sketches that I did while I was abroad. I just took a sketchbook and I was just drawing. I was like, at this point I was super obsessed with Avatar the Last Airbender. I think the last season I finished up while I was in undergrad. Um or I had returned to it or something like that. Like I started when I was younger and then hadn't finished it. But and she was like, "Oh, these would be great if you could take these designs and combine it with the life drawing course. You know, use them as a
Mm,
base so you can, you know, get your proportions and anatomy down, and then add those designs on top." And so I think she really kind of um, helped me think in that way, as far as like, "Oh yeah, this is like character. That's essentially character design." You know, what she was telling me. Um, and so I think just getting the fan art and Bitterroot kind of just show me, okay, there's other things that I can do outside of animation, and comics is similar to that. And yeah, I don't know, I decided I want to do it and I started practicing. I don't know, I'm just very like you know, if I want to do something, I'll work at it and then I do it and then I figure out the steps and the way to solve that problem. And I think that's why I was like very STEM oriented out, and I was like really good at those things when I was younger.
mm,
But it is very, I don't know, I think of it as problem solving when I do art
Tracks.
as well. So um everything is just like something that has a solution that you just haven't figured it out yet. So yeah, I think, yeah, I haven't really thought of it in terms
yeah.
of that, but yeah, I think I'm just very like, I think I'm emotional with some things, but I don't know. I guess with talking with you, I'm kind of self-reflecting and realize I am, I guess, a little bit methodical as far as like, you know, the things that I do and the steps that I take. So
I was gonna say, you said you take the next logical step. I was like, I feel like that's like STEM background. But
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
the whole thing with STEM is logic. You take the
Mhm,
logical step to solve the problem. You seem very much I want this, so I'm gonna go get it. So now let me figure out how
Hmm.
I can do that. So
right,
Absolutely.
have
I
right.
think
you? Oh,
oh, I'm so sorry, Tasha. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
see how we do? We just be like, Lord.
We just right.
Well, I was gonna ask if you've ever like pulled anything from your medical and STEM background into your art.
Um, so when I was an undergrad, I was doing these like I was doing these portraits. I did only a couple of them, but these portraits of black women, um, with their anatomy revealed, and then parts of their face had different uh comic panels that I picked, I was trying to find black women in comics and adding them onto their face um, as well. So I think that um, kind of was me incorporating it, but it was supposed to be this idea of how media dissects black women. And I was trying to find things in comics where you don't see a lot of black women as far as like characters and even like people writing and at the time or drawing them and I don't know, showing the opposite of stereotypes that media portrays. Like there's this one panel, I don't know which comic it's from, but it's Storm and Wolverine, and she's basically just talking about love. So I was trying to show like the softer side of black women. So yeah, it's like it was like there. I just didn't get into comics until later.
I think your approach to artistry is it's definitely not unique. There are definitely other artists that have a same kind of like thought process as well, but it's definitely something I wish we had more on like artistic teams. A lot of times when you're on a team of individuals, art people are so fun. But art people are kind of like cats that way, where you kind of we gotta reel it in together. We're so passionate about whatever it is, the thing that we're talking about, we just kind of just
That's fair.
spew, and we eventually will get to the thing.
Mhm.
Eventually. But I don't feel like we have enough like STEM artists, like methodical. Hey guys, let's get we have a thing that we're trying to do together. So
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah, I even have to catch myself sometimes too. Like even at my job, I'll go off on tangent. I'm like, you know what? Stop. I even have to tell myself, stop. Let's focus on this right now. Like
Right.
we can't get to that just yet. Let's start right here.
As far as art projects have gone, you've worked on so many incredible things. What would you say to date is one of the projects that challenged you as an artist the most?
Oh, I think it would be a tie between um the Midnight Mystics anthology story um and then the Fortnite loading screen I did. Um
Which was amazing, by the way.
thank you so much.
Made me Fortnite again.
Doing I think doing both of those projects was very intimidating, and the Midnight Mystics one, that was in part because of me. It was so Stephanie wrote the script, but it was based off of a story that I came up with, and
Mhm.
even she was joking with me like, Ryan knows she the one that's drawing this, right? Like I hope Ryan realizes. Like, so she kind of helped edit and rein me in, which is like super awesome. Um, but yeah, I wanted to do something that was like cool and like it had a dragon in it, you know. And so I just like put a lot of pressure on myself to. I really wanted to look really good.
Yeah.
And I think in that moment it looks good for what I came up with then. But now I like see some things I want to tweak and try and change and fix. But same thing with the Fortnite loading screen. That was like super intimidating. I was kind of dealing with a little bit of imposter syndrome, and then it was at the time peak season of like my day job, so it was a lot of work, and I wanted it to look really really nice, and they gave me subject matter that isn't something that I normally draw, and so I was like, oh, I gotta make this look really cool for the kids. It's gotta look Sigma, or whatever it is the little kids say. Um, but I think it was a good learning experience, and hopefully I'll get another chance to work with him in the future. I was just super honored in general just to be asked to do one. Like the art director came and found me. I guess he was looking for me at one of the cons before, but I wasn't. I was kind of busy at my table, and he took it upon himself to find me again. So that yeah, it really means a lot, and it's cool to like hear people like say that they had, oh yeah, that they got the loading screen, and And stuff, and it was something that it was a goal of mine anyways, and so it's kind of crazy that it's happening so soon. So yeah, hopefully I will get to do it again and be on that main battle pass. I call this like my loading screen junior, and this was like my get my foot in the door, so but it's also like a special one because you have to do a quest to get it. And so yeah, I think those were like cool and fun challenges, both in different ways.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. The way I hadn't played Fortnite in a year and a half, and I was
That's so
like,
real.
"Get a loading screen? Come on, kids, you're playing."
Not come on, kids are playing Fortnite. It's so valid.
You're my team. That's the team we win with.
Ah,
Yes.
you know what? You did, in fact, build that team brick by brick, so I'd imagine they'd be very efficient.
I love that.
You myself forget. You got your
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to make a mom joke.
forget.
Oh.
Forget. I made me forget. Do you have anything quick before I get to the last little bit?
Yeah, one more question. For me, you mentioned for Midnight Mystics was an incredible project. Tasha, you also were a part of Midnight Mystics, were you not?
Yes.
Yeah. So, for working with Stephanie, how did that come about, and what was that process like?
um so one day I told Stephanie I wanted to draw comics, and she said bet. And so I just pop on projects now. So it's very much, oh, you
And
want to draw
period,
comics?
yes.
Okay, be ready to draw some comics. Is the vibe. And so I found out I was working on that. I mean, she had mentioned, yeah, she's like, yeah, I got something that we could work on. So I kind of found out once it was posted on social media that we would be doing. I was like, oh, okay, this is what we're doing. Um, but yeah, it's very much that, and yeah, like I said I wanted to start drawing more comics, and so we did one project before that together. It was a 5-pager for another anthology. And even before that, because she had mentioned, yeah, I have this coming up, I even wrote and drew my own one just to kind of like practice and see how I wanted to do it and finish that. And I showed her that, and she liked it as well. And so I think that um kind of showed her I was serious about it as well. The fact that I would write and draw my own comic before as kind of like a warm up before we work together. And so yeah, the process is like pretty fun, pretty easy. I mean, it's just pretty easy to work with her. I kind of like her style where she kind of plans everything out, and then I just follow it as best as I can. She's always open for me to change and interpret things I can, but for the most part I can follow it really well. So um but yeah, I always love to see the different projects she adds me to and throws me on. Oh, so yeah.
But some of the dream teams that have pairing up were definitely you two. So I was glad that you guys were working on
Oh,
this story together.
thank you. I really can't wait till it's done and everything.
It is
Like,
done.
yes, yeah, we got our lettered pages back, and the letter of Jody is like went crazy on it, for sure. So
I think that's what
um
we're waiting for lettering. I'm gonna say.
good, awesome.
But I think
Yes.
the last one I have before we get to the actual last questions.
Yeah.
In the future, where do you see yourself at with your art?
Um so someone else asked me this recently. I think for me, I want to do cover work. That is like the thing that I actually really want to do. But I keep being pulled and asked to do sequential art. A lot of people keep on asking me to do storyboards. I guess I show off a skill that looks like I could do storyboards. So maybe I'll do that, but I would love to do a cover run. So
So,
that's kind of like what I'm Yeah, that's what I'm kind of like
Hmm.
focusing on and trying to gear my portfolio to. Um, right now, in addition to still practicing sequentials, I definitely want to write and draw my own stories. So I have some ideas of my own that I want to kind of work on. Um, but for me, I kind of see myself as being a part-time comic book artist and part-time whatever other job I have. Um, I'd like to maybe like teach part-time as well. I always thought of myself of always wanting to be like a working artist. So I think that's kind of like where I see myself in the future. I think I'm gonna get a cover soon. I'm gonna speak that into existence. I think that is like where I'm going, and I think it's kind of overdue as well. Um, so yeah, those are my goals, and then eventually a cover run. Like that would be really dope. So.
Okay. And when you
Hmm.
say teach, real quick, this is actually something I didn't mean to ask earlier. Do you mean like art classes or like?
Yeah, yeah. I thought about going back to school to get my MFA so I could teach on the college level. And that would be a great way to like kind of balance the art and working as well. Yeah. Hmm.
Hmm.
So I do now want to ask if you have any advice for other little Black girls who want to get in art. Maybe they're using art as a side thing and still thinking about it because they started in STEM and they feel like that's a better opportunity, or maybe they're just self-taught artists growing up right now that want to know they want to be artists. Do you have any advice?
Yeah. I think honestly the thing that's helped me is like being honest with my skill and being realistic with my skill and ability right now too.
Mhm.
I when I kind of made the change, I knew I kind of like evaluated it and can I hate to say compare yourself, but to an extent, look at the stuff that's being published as far as like the quality, and see if your work holds up. Be specific about your portfolio and what it is you want to do as well. Even that's something I'm like working on and kind of have forgotten. Like if you want to do Magic the Gathering, well, look at Magic the Gathering cards and what it is that they're doing there and trying to create pieces that if you drop your Magic the Gathering design in the middle of them, does it stand out? And does it stand out for a bad reason? Standing out isn't bad, but does it fit into that collection, especially if you're trying to go work for other companies and do different things? Not saying you can't have your own style and put your own twist and spin on it, but we want to think about having a little bit of fidelity as far as like the work when we start thinking about wanting to do professional stuff. And then also you can just do it for fun. You don't have to always make money off of your hobbies too. But if that is something you want to do, it is a job just like any other thing. And it is a practice just like any other thing. I think we talked about this last time. I was in a sports background, so
Mhm.
practicing and going in the gym and um you put in those hours to get better at something. So it's the same thing with art as well.
Yep. I wish
I
people would
agree.
realize that things are,
Yes.
in sports, all those things are a skill. You gotta practice.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Um, okay, so we've come to the part. I guess we'll do recommendations before we close out. So, recommendations. This week, my recommendation of a comic book by a Black woman is going to be Gehenna. I was like, I had one. Where'd it go? Gehenna Imperium. It's by my friend Jay Wynn. She's down here in Atlanta with us. It's a really good book about a woman who gets thrown into purgatory and has to fight her way out. So,
Ooh.
yeah.
My recommendation is an oldie but a goodie. It's The Diary of a Mad Black Werewolf.
Oh,
Um,
yes, you let me read that when I was there.
yes, Diary of a Mad Black Werewolf is one of my favorite. It's less of a comic book per se; it's more of a storybook, but it's absolutely beautifully. I'm pulling it up right now, so I can tell you who did it. But
Yeah.
basically, it's about a little. I don't know what they call groups of werewolves. Actually,
Would it
I
be a
don't know,
pack?
but a little.
Pack
Yeah, Well, there you go.
Yeah.
It's about a pack of werewolves, but from the perspectives of one specific pack member, as she is detailing her experience being a black werewolf, a black
Wow.
woman who is also a werewolf throughout time. It's very it seems real subtle, but it gets real dark real quickly. But it's good.
That sounds
It's
good.
I remember
it's
the creator. She does a lot of like darker stories.
yes. Oh my good. Written and illustrated by Michelin Hess.
Yes, that's the
So
one. Okay.
so if you like dark fantasy, if you like stories with a little bit of grit to them that do a little bit more than the surface level, I definitely love it. It's a beautiful book. It's on one of my shelves, but it's an absolutely beautiful book.
And those are our recommendations for the week, guys. Ryan, please tell everybody where they can find you.
Yes. You can find me on Instagram at Ryan Oakley Art, as well as Blue Sky at Ryan Oakley Art. And I'm on Threads. I'll be, posting some things here and there. But yeah, Ryan Oakley Art, you can find me pretty much everywhere.
You're up.
Oh, hi, I'm Ty. Sometimes I go by Black and Culture. That's BLAQUE, the letter NKULTURE on all social media sites. You can Google me. I will most likely come up. I also am occasionally with my friends over at Off Black Magazine, the only Black international nerd culture magazine, where I am the chief creative officer. So if you want to hear me talk about nerd stuff of our team, talk about nerdy stuff within the nerd otaku community, be sure to check us out over there too.
Yeah. Because I was about to say you're occasionally like you're not the whole CFO, man.
Yeah, like that. That's actually just my business, Black and Culture.
All right, everyone. Hello. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, all the things. You can follow Melanin Minds at Melanin Minds 24 on Instagram. Also, Melanin Minds now hosts a database of Black women who work in comics. We have artists, we have writers, we have editors, we have personalities, we have what was the last thing I just put in there? Organizations like women in comics because it's run by a Black woman. And I need to go ahead and add conventions because I do know several conventions that are run by Black women as well. And so that'll be the next part that will be added. But there is a full-on list of Black women who work in comics on the Melanin Minds website, as well as reviews for books and a bunch of other information about Melanin Minds, blah, 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 blah. So that's that is melaninminds.card.co. Maybe we'll get a domain soon. Who knows? Other than that, like and subscribe every Friday at 5 p.m., at least for the next little while until this season is over. We host great Black women and femmes who work in comics and post interviews with them. I'm also doing a bunch of other random videos that you can find on the channel now because I'm trying not to be, a one-trick pony over here. So subscribe, watch all those videos, get a couple laughs in the guests, learn a couple things. And yeah, remember, as I always say, a small spark can become a huge blaze. And we'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.